Hey everyone out there on YouTube. Just eating some food. You watching my own videos. I'll just see how well I sounded. Well, I'm making this video called The Catholic Church Stands in the Way of Scientific Progress. Now, earlier on I did make a video before where I made a verbal mistake. And I recognized it. So I needed to redo it because it was incorrect. Now, I had it backwards. The Catholic Church did believe the earth was flat. They did not believe it was round. But Galileo Galilei said it was round. Things revolve around the sun. And there's a clip from the Standard Deviants. I hope you all enjoy it. And I believe that science has a lot to play in beliefs. Because I was very much I guess I could call myself a scientist when I was in 4th grade, but very analytical. Now, if the Catholic Church is the one true church and that has it right, why were they wrong in the Dark Ages? Why is it that under threat of torture, they got Galileo Galilei to recant of his position on the earth, how it revolves around the sun? They were wrong about it. Scientifically speaking today, we know better. We have pictures of the earth that show that it's round. But to preach that back then could land you in trouble. So, for another example of something crazy like this is transubstantiation. If it really is true, and if you take communion in that wafer board to a scientific laboratory right after the priest blesses it, to have the scientist confirm it, but the scientist must not know what it is. He also must have unblessed wine and unblessed bread as well, and compare them. See if there's been any change at all. I will tell you that he'll say it's just grape juice and wafer board. Alright, let's get to the video, and I hope you all enjoy it. The Standard Deviants from Cerebellum.com. There's a little shout out to these guys. It's a little clip from their video on astronomy. Hope you all enjoy it. And I'll get back to eating. Have a good and blessed Sabbath, since it is coming at this time, but you could be watching it some other time of the week, but the spirit of the Sabbath permeates the rest of the week. It's good times. It's good times.
Galileo Galilei was the first scientist to actually experiment. For Aristotle, it was good enough to reason that heavy objects fell faster simply because they were heavy. Galileo went to the Tower of Pisa and chucked things over the side. He wanted to see things for himself.
Galileo had heard about a Dutchman named Hans Lippershey, who invented a spyglass for looking at far-off objects, like boats.
Galileo instantly realized the importance of the invention. The spyglass could be used to look at the stars, the sun, and the moon. So he whipped one up on his own without ever actually seeing a spyglass. Galileo called his new version of the spyglass a telescope.
Just about everything Galileo looked at disproved something that Aristotle or Ptolemy had said. The moon was not smooth like Aristotle claimed. It had ridges. The sun wasn't smooth either. It had blemishes and spots. Galileo observed different phases of Venus, leading him to think that the planet orbited the sun. He could see something strange about Saturn, and when Galileo observed Jupiter, he made perhaps his most startling discovery. There were moons orbiting Jupiter like a miniature solar system. Galileo's observations destroyed the geocentric model of the universe. The Earth was not the center of everything after all. Copernicus and Tycho and Kepler had been arguing this the whole time, but now Galileo had convincing evidence.
Galileo published the explanation of how his observations supported Copernican theory in a book called Sidereus Nuncius. In Galileo's time, scholars were the only people who knew Latin, and they all wrote in Latin. Galileo wrote his book in Italian, hoping that many people, and not just scholars, would be able to read his work.
The book received widespread attention and was quickly banned, and church officials criticized Galileo's work. Of course, they never looked through Galileo's telescope to find out if he was right. In 1616, the church ordered Galileo to stop teaching Copernican theory.
In 1632, Galileo defied the church and published the book Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems. The book portrayed the followers of the Ptolemaic system as dim-witted simpletons. Galileo's own Copernican thinkers were enlightened and witty. The public loved the book. The church hated it. The church was so angry, in fact, that they arrested the 70-year-old Galileo and forced him under threat of torture to denounce his own works. Galileo did, but by that time it was too late. The word was out. Scholars continued to pursue the theory of a heliocentric system.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Standard Deviants, and go get the video for yourself. Go buy it. You know it's true, and you can research it. The Catholic Church did stand in the way of scientific progress. And that should tell you what kind of church they are. I mean, if they're right, how come they weren't right about the earth? They thought the earth was flat. The earth is round, like a ball. But they didn't teach people that. And they got mad and tried to, well, under pain of torture, to get Galileo Galilei to recant of his book. So, anyways, this is an example of how the Catholic Church can be unreasonable, unscientific, with evidence right in front of them, and the kind of character that they really are. And it tells you that, as what RUSDA 2 showed in his video about the syllabus of errors, that they are not for freedom of speech. Because if you preach anything different than what the established church of the Catholic Church believes and teaches, you're in trouble. So, that's what they were like when they're in power. That's what they'll be like when they're back in power. And if you want to know what they'll be like back in power again, why don't you research some things in World War II and find out some interesting things about the Catholics. Then, now when I say Catholics, I want people to understand that I do have Catholic friends that are very much ignorant of their own church and their own doctrines. And they're not even really practicing either. I'm talking about this institution, this church structure that Bengali is a part of, and he's willfully a part of it. He knows what he believes. And he probably, I don't know if he sits around and believes that the earth is flat. I don't know. Because it sounds like the Catholic Church didn't believe it's flat, but now they believe it's round. Yeah, it's a little bit double talk from their side. And if they were right, how come they were right about that? And it almost tells you that the Catholic Church was wrong. And look at what they did to somebody who was right. How they wouldn't listen or reason or look at the moons of Jupiter. I mean, it's crazy. Well, this is Spoke 7777. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned some more about how the Catholic Church stands in the way of scientific progress. Because they must understand the Bible through the sayings and farts of the Holy Pontiff, which is anything but holy or a Roman emperor. Have a good day and God bless.